Protecting your kids online is a long-term thing. Stop thinking about how can I control every environment, every situation? How can I make sure that everything is perfect? How can I be sure that nothing happens to them? Start focusing on how can I communicate with them? How can I connect with them? How can I give them the tools to allow themselves as they grow up to protect themselves? Because at the end of the day, you can't be everywhere, you can't know everything, and you can't see everything, even if you believe that you have the best parental monitoring software of all times. Hey, I'm CyberFareedah. I'm an award-winning Forbes 30 Under 30 online safety educator, helping you protect your kids online for the long term. So when I mean kids of all ages, but as we're talking about more communication, less about controlling everything, less about monitoring, we are talking about as your kids transition over to the teenage years. When your kids are younger, naturally you're going to have to focus a little bit more on how can you add boundaries and filters in the environment so that you're not having things that are inappropriate inside of their environment, and so that they can explore in a safe space. But as they grow older, you're going to have to open up a little bit more. You're going to have more sit down type of conversations. You're going to have to create that safe space so that your kids can have a trustworthy interaction with you and they don't feel like I have to hide from my parents in order to do whatever I want to do. Say for instance, you create a guideline within your household. You may feel like I'm the parent, I created the guideline, you should listen to it, there should be no discussion about it. But because we're talking about protecting kids online is a long-term thing, you're actually going to have to tell them the why behind that. Allow them to understand why your decision was your decision, stories, what concerns, what worries, what real life things that can happen influence your decision in not having social media or not having a particular social media or enabling a certain feature. Whatever it is, give them the insight so they can understand the why behind that and turn it into a conversation. This is not to say that you're not going to do what you're going to do and what you believe is best for your kids, but opening up to a conversation, allowing them to critically think about why they're doing certain things or you're doing certain things gives you a really healthy discussion. You always want to think about what am I teaching them today that they can apply tomorrow, they can apply as they grow older. Am I teaching them concepts that allows them to protect themselves in terms of privacy, in terms of security, in terms of safety, or am I just being paranoid or am I being worried? Am I giving them the space to open up to me, to have boundaries, to say no in a healthy way? You also teach your kids how to understand their emotions, and if they're feeling a little bit tired or they're feeling a little bit down every time they go on Instagram or every time they log on a game, then that might be an indication that they need to take a break. It's not an indication that trash all technology, technology's bad, social media is bad, even though we have a whole video on that, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. But it is an indication that you want to change something up. You want to go for a walk, you want to bake something, you want to do whatever it is, do something different, have like a pattern interrupt to give yourself a little bit more fuel so that when you go back onto social media or you go back onto the technology or going to the Zoom class or finishing your homework online, you're a little bit more rejuvenated. This is what it means to think about protecting your kids online as a long-term thing. You're not just saying that was way too much TV, get off the TV, that's terrible for your brain, and you take it away. Your kids aren't really learning anything but frustration and annoyance and mom's and overkill. But if you're approaching that situation a little bit differently and you see that they're having an attitude change or they have a behavior change, you go, you see that? Like, doesn't that feel not so good? Let's take a break. Let's go outside. Let's take a breather. Let's go for a walk. Let's do something outside as an activity or bake a cake or do your chores because I told you to do it and you didn't do it. Things like that. Some pattern interrupt. So teach them how they should manage their life when you're not even there and you're not watching. With every online safety or online security decision that you make, think about what am I teaching my kids that will help them in the long term as it relates to them protecting themselves online. Because eventually they're going to be in middle school, high school, they're going to go to college. They're going to need to know how to secure that, how to add privacy, how to add safety. And you don't want them to be the kid in the candy shop because now they finally have their own phone and they're finally paying their own bills or maybe a part of the bills. And now they don't think of anything about security and safety because all they think when they think about security and safety is control and annoyance and helicopter parent. I don't want them to think about safety and security like that because at the end of the day, it's going to follow them for the rest of their life. If you're looking to boost your kids' online safety, then click this video and watch it right now. I talk about all the steps that you can take as a parent to enhance your kids' safety online without losing your mind.